it's time now for the diet that has everyone from Beyonce to Jay-Z and Jennifer Lopez signing up.
Welcome, Marco Borges.
Marco Borges, an exercise physiologist and lifestyle coach.
Every time you eat, you're either feeding your health or you're fueling disease.
How do we expect kids to make healthy choices if they're programmed to eat pizza every single day for lunch?
Constipation is an $80 billion business. You know why? Because we don't eat enough fiber. Here's an easy way to get more fiber into your diet.
I could go on and on. Don't get me going. Don't get me going.
Be cautious and understand that, yes, whether it's a keto diet or a caveman diet or a paleo diet or a Whole 30 diet, any of those popular diets, what they're doing is they're asking you to eliminate a lot of the processed foods that were getting you to gain weight to begin with. Yeah, of course you're going to lose weight, right? Of course. That's like saying, Bob should go on a diet, right? He should reduce the amount of food that he's eating every day, and he should start smoking. And you're gonna watch that his weight is gonna go way down. And then the weight goes down and you link smoking to better health because Bob is losing weight. That just makes no sense whatsoever.
Hey everybody, this is Klaus from Plant Based News. So in this video, I have the honor of interviewing New York Times bestselling author Marco Borges. He's an exercise physiologist. He's the founder of 22 Days Nutrition. He's worked with a bunch of celebrities, including Beyonce, and it's a real honor to be speaking with him today. His company and website offer protein shakes and whole food plant-based meal plans. I'll put a link down below, but hope you enjoy this interview. So first up, what do you think of the junk food vegan diet?
Well, there's a lot of people out there that are choosing to go plant-based or choosing to go vegan, I should probably say, because of the environmental and or animal welfare reasons. And they lean into a plant-based or they lean into a vegan diet without really having the wherewithal or the information readily available to them.
And typically, if we look at the actual meals, what could like breakfast be on a junk food vegan diet?
A breakfast could be some sort of vegan cereal that's super high in sugar, doesn't contain any fiber, there are no vitamins, no minerals, basically just cardboard in a cardboard box, overly processed foods that don't have any real nutritional value. For lunch, it could be something like a burger from a fast food joint that's overly processed and super high in saturated fat, super high in sodium, and again, lacking in the most essential nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the fiber, and the same would follow with like a vegan type dinner. It could be overly processed or fried chicken sandwich, faux chicken sandwich or faux chicken dinner. And again, you see the trend, right? It's overly processed foods that are high in sodium, that are high in saturated fats, that are high in fat in general, typically also high in sugar, and are engineered to hit that bliss point so that you feel really good. And we know, I should say, that most of the people that are engineering these foods know how to hit that bliss point. They know that so-and-so, the average person that says they want to go vegan, but they really don't want to have to sacrifice on taste. They don't want to have to sacrifice on convenience, and they don't want to take the time to really understand what they need to do. So let's really prey on that. Let's really take advantage of that. So they create foods that check those boxes that says, vegan, that says 100% plant-based, that says no animal, products, that say no cholesterol, right? You're checking all the boxes, so you think that people are wanting you to check, but at the end of the day, it's overly processed food that's been engineered to trick you into thinking that it's better for you, but at the end of the day, it's really not. So when we're looking at this so-called vegan diet, we have to make sure that we don't fall for those traps that have been engineered to have us believing that they're better for us while, having your cake and eating it too, so to speak, in being able to check those boxes.
And how do you sum up the ketogenic low carb diet?
Keto is probably the most popular diet out today. We know that. A lot of people will tell you, well, I went keto because it was better. I had heard that it was better for my health. I heard that there's a lot of people losing weight on it. So, I would love to just hit on the things that I'm thinking about when keto comes to mind, right? People typically go on a keto diet because they want to lose weight, because they have this imagination that their friend lost weight on a keto diet, so they're going to lose weight on a keto diet. And what makes the keto diet work is that it's super strict, right? So it has people eliminating processed foods. So you're actually eliminating a lot of the stuff that was helping you keep that weight on and causing you to gain weight, right? So that in and of itself is going to help you lose weight, but you're not eliminating the most dangerous components of the diet, right? So yes, you will lose weight in the short term. Studies have found that long-term keto dieters will put on all the weight and then some, right? So be cautious there, because you're going to find that if you adopt a keto diet, yes, you're going to lose a little bit of weight in the beginning. You might even get what they call the keto flu, which is you'll get sick and you'll have upset stomach and brain fog and basically generally not feeling great, i.e. your body's telling you you shouldn't be eating this way. But I would caution people to read the science, read the data, to understand what the data is saying.
And very briefly, what is the data saying about the keto diet?
The keto diet will cause your cholesterol to go up. The keto diet is full of saturated fats. It's full of fat, period. And getting your body to, I mean, just think about it, right? Heart disease is still the #1 killer around the world. It's the same in the UK. It's the same in the US. We know that heart disease is a man-made disease that need not exist, right? We already know that. So why would we continue to try to ignore the facts when we know that a high cholesterol, high saturated fat diet is probably one of the things that we can reduce, we can walk away from in order to improve our chances of not suffering from this wretched disease.
And what about a Mediterranean diet? What are your thoughts on that pattern of eating?
A Mediterranean diet has been shown to be a healthier way to live. A Mediterranean diet has shown, and by the way, a Mediterranean diet is predominantly plant-based with some olive oil and some fish, some animal protein, not an overwhelming amount of animal protein, but a small amount of animal protein with some carbohydrates and some complex carbs and some plants. So it's as close as you can get, I think, to plant-based without going 100%. But I also invite you to explore not just the benefits for you, but the benefits for the environment and the benefits for the animals. Because once you know, you can't unknow. Once you see things, you can't unsee them. You understand that there's unnecessary suffering going on today that we do not need to put these animals or our planet through to live an abundantly healthy diet, an abundantly healthy lifestyle. We can live our best self on a whole food, plant-based diet without having to bring the animals into play, without having to bring the animals into suffering, while being incredibly conscious of our planet and our impact our dietary choices has on it.
Moving on to the next diet, it's gaining a lot of popularity at the moment. It's the all-meat, 100% carnivore diet. 100%
carnivore diet. Does that make sense? Think about it for 1 second. Klaus, think about that.
It's really gaining popularity, and there are a couple of doctors that are gaining massive traction, like Dr. Paul Saladino and Dr. Shawn Baker, who actually say fiber's unhealthy.
You need fiber in your body. We need fiber to make things move. Think about it, right? What causes colorectal cancer? How does let's just apply some common sense to that, right? Your body goes through a digestive process to eliminate waste, to eliminate toxins. Right? If you don't have the fiber to eliminate, to help move those toxins through your body, what winds up happening is that as they move through your body, they slow down the movement because there's really nothing to guide them through the system on the way out. And they just sit there at the exit, waiting for fiber to help them get out. So as those toxins sit there in your colon, ready to come out, and they're not coming out and they stay there, and whether it's that you're constipated or that you don't have regular bowel movement, do you need science to understand that those toxins sitting there can cause damage, long-term damage to your body? It's almost like, have you ever picked up a box of strawberries at the supermarket, right, or at the farmer's market, and you look at the strawberries and there's a little cluster that's all rotted. They're just all nasty. They're just all moldy and all look terrible. Do you think that the farmer took a cluster of moldy strawberries and just put them there? No. You know what happened is they put the strawberries in the box, and one of them started to basically go bad. One of them started to decompose and go moldy, and it touched another one. And the other one that it touched got affected by it. And then the other one got affected by it, and the other one got affected by it. So if that can happen in plants, and that happens, right? That happens in real life. how do you imagine that toxins sitting inside your body would not affect the area that they're touching? It's like that strawberry touching another strawberry, that blueberry touching another blueberry. Think about it for 1 second. Just apply a little common sense to that. It just doesn't make any sense. It really makes no sense whatsoever. That's a diet that I'm blown away by people actually following that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. Rather than just talking about the theory of this kind of way of eating, if we could just go through a typical keto meal plan. I know I sent it to you before and I know you've got it up, but if we just look at the first bit, it says, if you do feel like cooking up a morning meal, keep it simple with scrambled eggs, peppers, and onion with a side of avocado. How do you respond to that kind of diet?
So when I look at this next meal here, if you feel like cooking and your go-to is scrambled eggs, pepper, onions, and a little avocado on the side, I would question, how do you feel when you have those meals? How do you feel after you've had the scrambled eggs and the pepper? And again, I always go back to the data. I go back to the science. Do you know your numbers? Do you know what your cholesterol looks like? Do you know what your, when was the last time you got a physical, and did you check your numbers? Did you check the biomarkers that are most closely related to disease? How is inflammation in your body? How is your cholesterol level? How's your LDL? How's your blood pressure? What is your risk to insulin? Like, I look at all of these things because sometimes we are so used to feeling not great that we don't know what great should feel like. And it's not until you move towards 100% whole food plant-based diet that you actually truly understand what great should feel like. I remember a few years back, I did a study. We did a clinical trial at Holy Name Hospital in New Jersey, which was absolutely mind-blowing. We had 3 different cohorts, 300 people in 3 cohorts. One was 100% whole food plant-based, one was vegetarian, and one was a standard American diet. The 100% whole food plant-based diet did so incredibly well compared to the standard American diet and the vegetarian that we actually had to drop the standard American diet from this clinical trial because it looked like you were making up the numbers. I mean, literally looked like you were making up the numbers. Like LDL was going down by 60% in 22 days, which was absolutely mind-blowing. So when you look at the benefits of a whole food plant-based diet, it immediately makes me think of some of the participants that were in this study, where people would say to me, I just never knew that I didn't need to have a migraine every day. I thought that a migraine was just part of normal life, normal living. I thought it was that I hated my job or that I was unhappy with what I was doing. I just thought that it was something that I needed to learn to live with. We had other people saying, I worked out in spite of my pain. I worked out on top of the pain that I had. And it wasn't until I went 100% whole food plant-based that I realized how much inflammation was going on in my body and how much better I would feel when I no longer had that inflammation. So again, I give you those, comments and background for context so you can understand that a lot of times what we don't realize is what we have never felt before. So I would say I recommend that you try a day where you have a breakfast that is 100% whole food plant-based. Instead of the scrambled eggs, perhaps try some overnight oats with some blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. Maybe you'll try some, avocados mixed with some red, green, and yellow peppers with a little bit of lemon juice over the top and some nutritional yeast and perhaps some sprouts. And try something that is truly 100% plant-based and see how that makes you feel. And if your scrambled egg diet still made you feel better, then maybe that's what you should stick to. But I guarantee you the results are going to blow your mind, just in the way you feel, on how your mind feels, how your body feels, your energy levels throughout the day, how well you go to the bathroom. Yes, regularity. We know there's so many people that suffer from the inability to be able to go to the bathroom on a regular basis. We know there's so many people that suffer from constipation. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry for a reason. People are backed up. And when you start to eat 100% whole food, when you start to eat right, your body will thank you for it. It will thank you for it by giving you enormous amounts of energy, enormous enormous amounts of feel-good hormones that are going to be rushing through your whole body, making you feel amazingly abundant and alive. You're going to sleep better. You're going to feel better. You're going to have a better mood throughout the day. So I always say, yes, okay, so you've been trying that. Let's try something different and see if we can get you even better than where you are today. So when I see these typical, recipes or go-to for so many people, I just have chicken breast and a little bit of this, or I have scrambled eggs in the morning, or I have my whey protein. I say, okay, well, now that you've tried that, you've got nothing to lose, right? Let's try something radically different and tell me if you do not feel radically better. Just come back to me and tell me, because the science points to the facts. And if we're going to look at the science and we're going to look at the facts and we're going to study the data for what it is, we know the absolute healthiest diet that we could be practicing on a daily basis is 100% whole food plant-based diet, period.
Mm-hmm. And what are your thoughts on, I completely agree about the whole food plant-based diet. Maybe for people new to this, does that include olive oil? And what are your thoughts on olive oil? It's certainly viewed as healthy in the mainstream.
Yeah, well, as it relates to olive oil, it's been popular for many, many, many years because of the adoption of the Mediterranean diet. So when we studied the Mediterranean, we studied the lifestyle, we fail to understand that it's not just a geographical pocket or some sort of an anomaly because of what they're eating. We should also take into consideration how people live their lives, which is incredibly important. A lot of times we don't see that, right? What we assume that the olive oil is what's causing the good health, but we don't realize that these people also practice non-exercise daily physical activity, right? They're moving around. They're not sitting at a chair for 8 hours a day. They're not then getting out of that chair and then sitting in another chair in their car, basically driving somewhere for 30 minutes and then getting off in their home and then sitting in the sofa for another 3 hours before they go lay down in their bed for 8 hours, right? This is not how they're living their lives. They're outdoors. They're practicing, again, non-exercise daily physical activity. They're communicating with their friends on a regular basis. They have really great group of friends. They have community. They have purpose. They have intimacy. They know how to manage their stress. And the list goes on and on. And when I look at Optimum Health, I always break it into 5 pillars. It's nutrition, it's exercise, it's love and intimacy, stress management, and rest, which is sleep, right? So when you look at all 5 of those pillars, they have that in spades in the Mediterranean. It's not just the olive oil, right? And we always want to dissect everything down to one thing, right? We want to know that what is that one thing that's going to give me optimum health, and then we just want to do that, and it doesn't work that way. It's the concert of events. It's the symbiotic relationship, right? It's the beautiful harmony that this lifestyle will allow you to live if you're thinking about all of these things together, right? It's not just one ingredient. It's not just one action. It's how you live your life, which is why I always go back to habits. It's so incredibly important to understand your habits, because our habits guide us throughout every single day of our lives. And if there's a habit that isn't working for you, if there's some sort of an action on a daily basis that you're practicing that isn't moving you in the direction of better health or greater happiness, then you have to eradicate it. You have to be able to remove it by replacing it with another habit, something that's a bit more conscious, something that's a bit more deliberate, because it's the deliberate daily action of what it is that you're trying to do, what you're intending to do, that will help you live your best life, the life that you truly want to live, not just the life that you're living.